So the last video was setting up the basic circuit on the breadboard using a battery. The course that we're going to be doing is really learning about how to use the Arduino. So let's apply the Arduino to what we were doing in the last video. You can see the Arduino pin. So firstly, just power. How does that work on the Arduino? So we've got a 5 volt, we've got a 3.3 volt, and we've got some ground pins. You also see a ground pin over here. They all do the same thing. They power. So if you want to try and externally power something from this 5 volt pin, I can bring that over and up to the 5 volt on the breadboard. And then same with the ground. So I'm going to bring my ground from this side over and ground down to this one. I'll turn my wire black just to be logical about the coloring. And now if I plug that in or start the simulation, it should power my LED. You can see the red LEDs come on. So it's the same as using that battery. It's using the 5 volt from the USB, which will supply 5 volt. If you plug it into a power pack, so the voltage range of the Arduinos is 7 to 12 volts, and then it will step it down to the 5 volt here. So that would be this external power pack once you've programmed your project. So we don't want to just have this on. We want to actually program the LED. So what do we need to do next? Let's have a look at the code. So if we open the code up, when we open a new sketch in Tinkercad, you can see there is automatically a little set of block code here. If I look now over at this here, it might be a bit small in my video, but you can see the L light or the onboard LED is blinking on and off. If I have a look at that here, the block code that we're simulating at the moment, it says set built-in LED to high, wait 1 second, set it to low, wait 1 second. So that code is currently looping on here. If I set this one to say 3 seconds and then start the simulation again, we look back at this here, it stays on for longer, it comes off for a second, and it stays on for longer. So we can see we're already controlling our project just here. How do we transfer that now onto this code, this part here? So I'm going to get rid of my positive line, so we'll stop the simulation and delete this wire, and we're going to come out of some certain pins here. So let's start with pin 7. If I click pin 7 and bring that over to where my positive line was, you normally wouldn't go to this positive line, but and we start that simulation, it's not going to do anything, but we can change the code so we can set a certain pin to do a particular task. So let's just pull this code apart here and use this one. And we are going to duplicate this one. So we're going to set pin 7 to high, wait 3 seconds, set pin 7 to low, and wait 1 second, and we'll start that simulation and see what happens. So you can see it's on, it's fading on, and it's doing what we've asked for the code. Alright, so we need to add a bit more functionality. So firstly, we've got this powered a bit weird because that pin 7 is powering that whole line across here. We really only want it to power this single LED. So I'm going to pull the LED down to the bottom line here. And remember, we're trying to power the anode with the positive line. So the pin 7 is now a positive line. We're going to come over this way and we're going to drop pin 7 into this line that goes down and powers this row. We're going to pull our resistor. I'm just going to have to do that first though, down so it jumps over that gap. So that leads to this line, and then it's going to return to the negative from that point. So just have to do a delete there. I'm going to bring the negative down to this line. and we need one more wire, so we'll bring this one down to here. Let's check if it works. So I've turned it back to one on and one off. And now let's add another LED. So we're going to go from pin 8 this time. We'll do a blue LED this time. So connected it to that pin there. You should be able to click and duplicate this resistor. If I Control C and then Control V, we can duplicate it. And then we'll do the same to the LED, Control C, Control V, and we can duplicate it. And double click, this one's going to be blue. And we can change this one to be blue as well, so we can logically color our circuit, bring the ground back, and we'll make that one back to ground, so we'll make that a black cable. We check that its anode is connected to the return for the pin out, and let's play that circuit. Before we get there, I'll just quickly show you how I changed the code. So I've got the pin set up to 7 high and 8 low. Wait 1 second, 7 low and 8 high. Wait 1 second. That should loop. So let's see if it works. So you can see the LEDs alternate. A bit of a delay with the way they go down, but essentially that shows our code working. Have a go at that and see how you go. See if you can add some more functionality to that code as well, especially if you've got some prior knowledge using coding and Arduinos. Show me what you can do